Here we go again. Angel Reese is in absolute shambles after ESPN's latest 2025 rankings dropped. And let's just say reality hit harder than any defender she's boxed out this season. Reese thought she was the undisputed queen of the court, walking around with that "I'm the face of women's basketball" energy. But ESPN had other plans, ranking her not in the top 5, not even the top 10, but 12th. That's right, 12th. And let's be honest, this is still too high. But anyway, looks like the crown slipped. Now she's out here reacting like someone stole her favorite pair of designer sunglasses, full-on meltdown mode. Maybe ESPN just watched her recent blooper reel at Unrivaled. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark. She's sitting pretty in second place, completely unbothered, letting her game do the talking while Reese scrambles to save face. It's wild because not too long ago, people were actually trying to force this rivalry, comparing Reese to Clark like it was a real debate. Remember when even the commissioner was in on the action? Hectic moment if you recall from 1979 when those two rookies came in from a big college rivalry, one white, one black, and so we have that moment with these two. But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalry. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals. They don't want everybody being nice to one another. Well, consider that conversation officially over. The gap isn't just clear, it's embarrassing. Clark didn't even have to break a sweat, and yet she's miles ahead while Reese is somewhere, probably rage scrolling through her mentions, trying to tweet through the pain. Don't believe me? Here's proof. Let's be real for a second. This is downright humiliating for Angel Reese. She had all the hype, all the media attention, and all the trash talk. She built her brand around being that girl, the so-called game changer. But when the dust settled and it was time to back it up, she's sitting outside the top 10, clutching her participation trophy. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, she's been minding her business, dropping triple-doubles, shattering 62 records, and casually redefining what it means to be a superstar in sports. No gimmicks, no excuses, just straight-up dominant. And please spare me the "but she's a double-double machine" argument. Double-doubles are cool and all, but you know what's cooler? Being the actual reason people tune into games. ESPN used to have this weird anti-Clark energy, like they were allergic to admitting she was that girl. But guess what? Even they couldn't deny it anymore. She is the needle. The numbers don't lie. The stats don't lie. And now, finally, the rankings don't lie either. Meanwhile, Angel Reese fans are out here squinting at the list, scrolling down, desperately trying to find her name like it's hidden in the fine print. Sorry to break it to you, but 12th place isn't exactly superstar status. It's like showing up to an exclusive VIP party thinking you're the guest of honor, only to get stuck waiting outside while Caitlin Clark's already inside, owning the room. The Caitlin Clark haters really tried it, pushing every narrative they could to make it seem like Reese was on her level. But now, silence. Crickets. It's almost peaceful without all that noise, isn't it? And let's not even pretend this would be the same story if the roles were reversed. Imagine if Caitlin Clark was ranked 12th, while Angel Reese sat comfortably at number 2. The internet would be on fire. Sports shows would dedicate entire segments to it. Reese's fans would be celebrating like they won the WNBA championship. But now that Reese is the one sitting at 12th, suddenly rankings don't matter. Oh, now ESPN's list is irrelevant. Funny how that works. The reality is, rankings do matter, especially when you've built your whole persona around "people watch women's basketball for me too." And Caitlin Clark, she's sitting at number 2, though, let's be honest, she should probably be number 1. But that's cool. She doesn't need to be at the very top of the list to prove she's the face of women's basketball. She's already done that with her record-breaking performances, packed arenas, and jaw-dropping highlights. What's even funnier is that ESPN must have finally caught up on reality. Caitlin has become undeniable. Remember last season when, for reasons that defied all logic, ESPN actually ranked Angel Reese above Caitlin Clark on the rookie list? Yes, above the same Caitlin Clark who was out here breaking records like it was her side hustle, pulling up from the logo, and making defenders question their life choices. And what was Reese doing? Vibing. That's about it. And this is ESPN's list, y'all, not mine. So don't be chirping, getting mad if your fave isn't at the top. So at number 1 we have Cameron Brink, number 2 Angel Reese, and number 3 Kate Martin, 4 Rickea Jackson, 5 Julie Van Loo, and 6 Caitlin Clark. Now the truth is out, and the rankings reflect reality. Caitlin Clark isn't just great, she's a generational talent. And Angel Reese? Maybe next time, less talking, more hooping. Sure, Angel Reese pulled down some rebounds, credit where it's due. But outside of that, what were we really looking at? A walking highlight reel of missed shots, lackluster defense, and an offensive bag that's emptier than a vending machine after midnight. Yet somehow, despite all the bricklaying and defensive lapses, she was crowned as one of the top rookies, even earning a Rookie of the Year vote. Fast forward to today, and it seems like the experts have finally opened their eyes. Maybe they actually watched the games, maybe they stopped believing the TikTok hype, or maybe reality just hit them like a missed layup off the backboard. Either way, justice has been served because the more you watch Angel play, the clearer it becomes. She hasn't improved. In fact, she might have regressed. Her shooting? Still a struggle. Calling it inconsistent would be generous. Her defense? It's giving stat padding energy. Just enough effort to fill up the box score without making any real impact. And let's not even get started on her offense because that's an entirely different case study. If her jumper had a personality, it'd be shy, unreliable, and nowhere to be found when it matters most. Number 2 player in the entire league, not on the Olympic team. Just pointing that out. And of course, you did have some haters. Please, Clark is not better than Stewie Fee or Enescu. Clark is not better than Surin. They glazing Clark is not better than Enescu, blah, 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 no matter what. No matter what Caitlin Clark does, she's going to have some haters out there. It's just, they're losing their minds over all the people that have either been traded for and signed for the Indiana Fever right now. And, of course, it looks like a powerhouse of a team. This is exactly why last year's ESPN ranking was so baffling. They really tried to convince us that Angel Reese was better than Caitlin Clark. Seriously, what were we watching? Caitlin was out there leading her team, rewriting WNBA history books, and casually pulling up from the logo like it was part of her warm-up routine. Meanwhile, Angel was grinding out the most painfully average double-doubles you've ever seen. Numbers that looked decent on paper but meant nothing when you actually watched the games. Now, after months of excuses, overhyped debates, and keyboard warriors defending her every misstep, the truth is impossible to ignore. Angel's game isn't it? And the more she plays, the more obvious it becomes. We're finally done with the nonsense. The great debate between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Yeah, that never should have been a debate in the first place. The record is officially straight. Caitlin Clark is her, and Angel Reese is just there. Clark is redefining the game, breaking records, draining logo threes with ease, and making defenders look like they're stuck in slow motion. The best part? She does it all while Angel and her crew sit on the sidelines, throwing shade like it's their full-time job. Someone should probably tell Angel that trash talk is only cute when you're actually backing it up. And then there are the Angel Reese stans. Oh boy, the delusion is historic. They'll swear up and down that her game is unstoppable, while conveniently ignoring the fact that she's bricking shots like she's trying to build affordable housing. They'll cry about haters whenever someone points out basic facts. Newsflash, it's not hate if it's true. We're not being mean. We're just using our eyes. Try it sometime. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is out here casually dropping 30-point games, setting records like it's just another Tuesday, and generating more revenue for the league than entire franchises combined. The impact is undeniable. Angel, she's just out there, existing. And when her team loses, which happens more often than her fans like to admit, she's ready with a laundry list of excuses. It's the referees, it's the system, it's the media. Maybe, just maybe, it's you. Angel Reese went on this massive rant last year, with Kennedy Carter, I believe, standing next to her about how people are tuning in for her. It wasn't just one other person, but all these people are moving the needle and people want to watch her, except you're not her. No, you're not her. The debate is over. Not that it ever should have been a debate to begin with. Caitlin Clark is the future of the WNBA, the face of women's basketball, and a generational talent who's already changing the game. Angel Reese? She's just another player with a loud fan base and a jumper that needs divine intervention. And honestly, that's all that needs to be said. Right now, there's only one name standing between Caitlin Clark and that MVP trophy. And unfortunately for the rest of the league, it's A'ja Wilson. Yeah, sure, Asia's got her MVP awards. She's been the cornerstone of a stacked Aces team, and she's definitely a force. But let's be real, she's holding on to that top spot for dear life because Caitlin Clark is coming, and she's coming fast. This time next year, we might be talking about Clark as the undisputed best player in the league, and honestly, would anyone even be surprised? Not at all. The Indiana Fever went absolutely wild in free agency, stacking their roster with talent like they're trying to assemble the Avengers. And Caitlin? She's about to go full superhero mode. We're talking MVP-level numbers, record-breaking threes, and defenses looking like they accidentally walked onto the wrong court, completely clueless on how to guard her. The Fever are looking scary, and the Aces better hope their championship window isn't closing because Caitlin's arrival just shook up the entire league. As for Angel Reese, she might want to stop worrying about ESPN rankings and start worrying about staying relevant. Because if this season was any indication, things are only going to get worse. One thing is crystal clear. Caitlin Clark is the main event, the superstar, the showstopper. She keeps getting better, and the rankings prove it. More points, more fans, more broken records, more eyeballs glued to the screen every time she steps on the court. At this point, the only thing she hasn't done is sign autographs while dropping 40. But give it time. It's probably on her to-do list. Reese fans were loud in 2024, screaming about how she was on Clark's level. But now, crickets. They went from Reese is just as good as Caitlin to, well, Reese tries really hard, and even that's a stretch on some nights. It's been a while since anyone with a straight face could put Reese and Clark in the same sentence. Unless the sentence is, Caitlin Clark is a generational talent, and Angel Reese is also present, because while Caitlin keeps elevating, Reese keeps doing the same thing, talking loud and playing small. The hype train left the station a long time ago, and Reese is still trying to buy a ticket. At this point, the only thing she's consistently good at is talking and twerking. And honestly, that's not exactly a winning formula on the court. And since we're on the topic of overrated, let's take a moment to talk about Wilson. Oh, I know Aces fans are already foaming at the mouth, clutching their championship banners like it's a security blanket, but let's be real. You all act like she's the second coming of basketball greatness when, in reality, she's just riding the coattails of a stacked super team. Put Caitlin Clark on that same roster, and she's dropping 50 points a night while probably solving world hunger in her spare time. Wilson fans love to act like she's untouchable, but let's not forget, she disappears in big moments more often than my Wi-Fi during a thunderstorm. So Caitlin Clark is somebody that is going to probably, she's going to, I would say, be, in my opinion, the second favorite for MVP. I think she is going to be the second favorite for MVP in the WNBA. That is how confident I am in Caitlin Clark's year 2. Now here's where it gets really funny. Wilson fans are having a full-on meltdown, blaming the Fever front office for daring to build a competitive team around Caitlin Clark. Like, how dare Indiana actually try to win? First of all, it's literally the job of a front office to build the best team possible. That's their entire purpose. And second, weren't these the same people cheering when the Aces loaded up with 6 Olympians? Oh, but now it's a problem because the Fever did it better? The irony is almost too good. Over in Indiana, though, things are looking bright. Like, championship bright. The Fever are riding a wave of momentum that's more like a tsunami at this point. Caitlin Clark's arrival was already seismic, but now, it's like they poured rocket fuel on an already blazing fire. Analysts are calling them a top 3 team in the league, with some even predicting they'll take the championship this year. This isn't just an improvement from the team that could barely scrape together 5 wins 2 seasons ago. This is a full-blown WNBA power shift, and through it all, Caitlin just keeps doing Caitlin things, making history, packing arenas, and casually breaking records like it's her weekend hobby. She's got more fans than half the league combined, and honestly, the WNBA should be sending her thank you notes and fruit baskets at this point because she's single-handedly raising the league's profile. As the 2025 WNBA season approaches, the entire basketball world is buzzing with anticipation. The Indiana Fever, once the league's lovable underdogs, are now legit title contenders. Caitlin Clark is finally being recognized for what she's always been, one of, if not the best, basketball players in the world. A'ja Wilson, better watch her back. And Angel Reese, well, she's somewhere in the dust, still trying to figure out how this all happened so fast.